My name is Chris Galvin and I'm coming to you from Warrenton, Virginia, located in the foothills of the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains. Today, I'm going to examine how technology in today's world affects our educational environment. And based on some of these trends, I'm going to project how my school, St. John's School, might look in 5 to 10 years. With the speed that we're moving, it's worthwhile to also look at how we can get parents to engage productively in the school's mission, especially using this technology. The students in our schools right now are what we call the millennial generation, born since 1982, and they're basically 27 years old or younger. Sometimes we call them the Generation Y. These students are different from older generations in that they are more adaptable with technology. They use it every day and they use different learning strategies, especially in the classroom. With their frequent use of technology, they can access information much faster than we can teach it. The millennials are also multitaskers and they often plug in the moment they wake up to the time they go to sleep. Most times, they are using their electronics even while still in bed.
Mom, what are you doing?
With the rise of technology use, these millennials have become a smarter generation, using iPods, iPads, iPhones, Androids, tablets, notebooks, laptops, Chromebooks, Xboxes, and PlayStations. They can communicate on social media, email, cell phones, instant message, and Twitter. With these tools, they seek out knowledge and know the fastest ways to get it. Technology use is on the rise, and more educational environments are using computer technology inside and outside the school buildings to keep pace with the knowledge that these students have access to. Do you remember when my generation, the Generation Xers, used headsets for learning a foreign language? That was technology. In our classes, we were expected to sit at desks absorbing as much knowledge as we could and then spit it back out on a test. That was learning. Gone are the days when the teacher is the focus. But now, all our attention is on the students and how they are learning. Classrooms are using smartboards and iPads to encourage group projects and hands-on methods. But students are still moving at a faster pace for their learning needs. With this millennial generation, now students are learning to teach themselves. They already have access to a wealth of information at their fingertips, but they lack the know-how of how to organize it, decipher what's true, and convey it as a reliable source. Our society needs to have instructors who are able to facilitate a student's learning and steer them towards transitioning into the real world. Many of these careers have not even been developed yet, so we need to concentrate on the skills necessary to adapt to the ever-changing career needs for the future. An innovative approach is not just using technology, but connecting from teacher to student through technology. Online courses, distance learning, and cyber schools are fast becoming an educational trend in our modern school systems. Universities and homeschooling students have already taken the lead with these formats and are influencing curriculum developers to broaden their offerings for students. But what if students aren't at the college level, or if they're not homeschooling? How do elementary and middle schools keep up with this exploding trend? Parents in the dual income lifestyle can afford to buy their children their own personal devices for communicating and learning, but the learning environment is something they cannot provide. A school solution might be the cyber school or a flipped classroom where students meet in the brick and mortar building, but the courses are facilitated by an instructor who might actually be located at some distance away. Keep in mind that this scenario would be for children who are too young to be left on their own for their education. Schools would have to provide a proctor or even a teacher on hand to work with students who might need help. But as the millennium generation gets older, what happens to their education? Today I'm at St. John's School and I'm sitting with my field instructor Luann Fine, who is the science and math teacher here at the middle school for grades K through 8. So Luann, I wanted to ask you, what is it that you see where the school is in 5 years with technology and the advancements? And also the lab learner that was recently installed into the school, how is that advanced?
Well, we were able to acquire the Lab Learner program last year, so this is our second year. It is a hands-on approach to teaching science for grades pre-K through the 8th grade. It allows them to use the proper equipment, to learn the proper terminology for the equipment. So it is a great program because it allows the younger kids to get into the lab where they think that they're actually performing an experiment and acting as a scientist. They are using real laboratory equipment. They're measuring things the way a scientist measures things.
Okay, and so it's all this, the learning, the advancement that they're going towards, it helps globally to help them to be more competitive with other students who are learning the same measurement systems.
Yes, by the time they get to high school, they will know how to, not only how to measure, but how to convert those measurements into the scientific language. They're learning how to mass objects. They're learning how to not only do measure liquid capacity, but how to do solid capacity by using a formula and by measurement.
Okay. And how do you feel that the technology where is it taking the kids in the next 5 years?
We are fortunate. Every classroom is equipped with a Promethean board. Last year we added a 30 iPad cart, which is used throughout the school. A lot of the younger kids use that, but I house in my classroom a 30 laptop cart, and that is for middle schoolers, and they are constantly in use. I'm also talk to my kids and taught them how to use Google Docs, so that they're no longer needing to share or to save information on the flash.
In place of flash drives?
They could create Google Docs. They create it, but then you can share it with people. So when they now create their documents, they share them with me. Then we're eliminating the need to save it, because Google Docs are automatically saved in the cloud. And if they share it with me, I can now have access on my computer. So we're eliminating the process of using paper.
Right.
So everything is through the computer. So hopefully in the future, that's where we'll all be going. With the threat of viruses that are now on flash drives and everything, it's just a safer way. And we're saving paper.
Sure, and with so many different assignments on the cloud, parents have access to it too as well. So do you think in the future with the cloud that you won't need an email address to upload documents, or is there a potential to interact through the cloud using something else?
But I would imagine in time, because when you think about, when we first started saving things on flash drives, I thought that was amazing. And now that if we can create everything on a Google Doc, then then I'm able to pull it up right from any computer that I'm at using my email address.
Sure. Any location, anytime.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How about getting parents involved with all the technology that these students are using? What kind of innovations would require more from them for
Well,
input?
the first thing that we've done for the parents in this is that we have a parent portal. So the parents and the children are allowed to pull up their grades online, and they can view them daily to see what their average is. It's a great way to help, not only to help the student, but also to help the parent, But from a teacher's standpoint, it's fabulous because we no longer need to write interims. Where before we would have to email the parents or telephone the parents, and now that saves us time because it's all right on the parent portal. There's a place where you can leave comments or anything. It involves the parents more so that they know what's going on, or they should know what's going on with their child with school.
Sure. And that really does get them on board.
Yes.
With also participating in their students' school.
We also list their homework online, so the children have access and the parents have access so that they know, or they can at least look ahead and see what is going on with their child, and if there's a long-term project or if there's a test.
And that's kindergarten through 8th grade
Yes.
here at the school.
Yes.
So that's huge.
Well, it's wonderful. It is. When we first started listing the homework online several years ago, many teachers did not like that idea. I just think it lets the children and the parents become more actively involved in what's going on in the school.
In the future, maybe St. John's might entertain the idea of a cyber school or online courses. What do you think the school will be doing for those?
So last year we did start an algebra online program for one of the gifted and talented boys in 7th grade. And we had an 8th grade student who is currently taking algebra also do the geometry online. It is a way that we're looking forward to. So it is something that we're able to do, but I think it needs a lot of tweaking in order for it to become fully successful.
So a lot of potential for professional development and for students to increase their awareness of using the technology.
Yes.
A little bit of learning on both sides.
Yes, yes. So I do see it happening more in the future as we go along. There is a teacher mentor, but that role would need to be increased, I feel, in order for it to become successful.
Sure.
But you really should have a teacher there who's able to assist when a question arose.
Sure.
Instead of the child just sitting in front of the computer and teaching it,
Right.
to themselves.
Okay. Well, a lot to learn,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of growing potential.
Yes.
And we'll have to see where we will be in another 5 years.
Well, it will be interesting because from where we were 5 years ago, we've come so far. So it will be interesting to see where we're going in the future.
Okay, great.
For schools in the future, teachers are going to need specific skills in order to reach and to teach their students. Some of my goals for teaching for the near future would be to communicate more with parents using the technology available to them and to me, using emails and also using blogs and having them use the technology, cell phones, iPads, and websites to communicate back and forth with each other would be beneficial for each of us. A second thing that I'd like to do is to increase my professional development so that I can learn more ways of using technology in the classroom for the students as well as for myself. A third way would be to incorporate the students' use of personal devices and to use how-to workshops for setting up blogs with them, using video movie makers and using podcasts in their lesson plans so they can use all this technology for their learning. And lastly, I'd like to use technology to help them incorporate more life skills into their learning. Things like establishing a school newspaper to help with their writing and their grammar skills. Also, managing a school store will help them with their math skills and also with public interaction. Learning to build furniture would help with their math skills, their geometry skills, their architectural skills. Gardening would be great for plotting and scientifically learning how the seed growth works. Pet care, also theater productions. All of these can give the student a lead in to learning more about their career choices that they might have. Hopefully, I can be a part of these innovative trends and maybe even impact someone's life. Of course, that someone may not even be born yet. I'm Chris Galvin from the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains in Warrenton, Virginia. Thanks for watching.